Welcome to part 2 of the Deluxe DECAL application system.
Once your yellow is dry, we're going to hit this. We're going to seal it with matte clear. I prefer the Rust-Oleum brand matte clear. And sealing this is going to allow us to mask it again without any of the paint peeling off. I'm going to show you a technique where you use black automotive pinstriping to achieve that detail. So we're going to start our pinstripe here. And we're going to come up and we're going to line this. Try to do this in one fluid motion. And once you get it locked into place, really push it down hard. Follow this line. And then when you get to the end of your line, mash that down really hard and then just grab an X-Acto blade and trim it off. There you go. And you'll do the same thing to get that loop detail here. Before we get down to weathering this helmet, we're going to seal it again, Krylon matte clear, because there's going to be a lot of moisture added to this and there's a chance that you might wipe away paint as you're doing it. So to prevent that from happening, give it a seal coat. Also, by applying this sealing coat, you're making sure that everything weathers at the same rate. The acrylic paint might weather faster than the raw styrene. The vinyl decals might weather slower than the acrylic paint. So you want everything to weather at the same time, and that's what this finishing coat is going to do. It's going to give everything an even start. The way I like to do it is I don't want to be timid, because the way things read on a camera is much lighter than it really is. I want to go really heavy. I'm going to go with 3 stages of weathering on this helmet. A lot of guys just do a half of one stage. I'm going 3 stages. It's going to get really beat up. And to do that is my standard routine of black acrylic paint, a cup of water, a chip brush, and a rag. And we're going to start this weather job by getting some nice watery black paint, and the entire thing gets covered. Very generously. Don't be afraid. Let's get this thing washed very well in this dark. But just let this paint just sit on here. Just let it sit for a couple minutes. And then we're going to wipe it off, and then we're going to go again. you got to be very conscious about not wiping off all the paint. It's going to be really easy to want to like make it bright, but you don't want to do that. You want to keep it dark. You want to keep these nice black tones in the way the paint seeps into the cracks and the details. You want to keep all that. Maintain it. Don't worry. Like I said, when you weather these things, be fearless and keep going. Okay, so this is the first layer. Okay, here we go with stage 2 of the weathering. I'm going to put a little bit of white acrylic paint in my palette. I'm just going to get a little bit of it. I'm going to come over and I'm going to mix a gray tone. I don't know if that reads on the camera, but it's not black. It's gray. Just a little bit of the white paint will just feel like it's too dark. You can come in and bring it up a little bit. You want to get this gray, just like this. It's a little bit too light, so I'll bring in some black. Wet this down a bit. Just a little bit of a looser paint. And then get most of it off. Just kind of like rub it off onto your paper. Come in and just start doing a little bit of this modeling. Just kind of dab it on. Bring up some reference photos if you want to look at the reference shots, and just start matching the dark areas. I've got very little paint on this brush. And down here, it's like, and if you go too heavy like that, just kind of wipe it off. Use it to your advantage. Make it a little bit more random. And there you go. This is a very dirty helmet. So you can see where I'm going here with that. You can already see this taking on a lot more character. Let's go to this side. The last stage of distressing is putting in little ding marks, little scratch marks. It's where the helmet's been worn and it's scraping away all the paint and it's going all the way down to the Durasteel. It's getting rid of all the blast marks and staining. So you can do it with white paint, or you could just grab a sharp tool like this dental tool and just scratch away. Just little nicks and scratches. It's on the back of the helmet. It's on the back of the mohawk mostly, but it's also on the sides just a tiny bit. Don't go too crazy. But I'm just going to change directions of this dental tool. Get some heavy scratches in here and some really small little spots that have been scraped away. Like this. I'm continuing stage 3 weathering just with a little bit of white paint on a stick. I've got just a little incense stick here, and I've just sort of like marked in some of these scratches that go all the way down to the base. So you can see I've done some detailing here, I've done it over here, just by scratching in some of the white paint. Take it easy, don't go too heavy on it. So now we're looking like this. Before we start applying all the rest of the hardware, the mic, the visor, chin cup, all that, I'm going to seal this one more time with matte clear. It's going to lock everything into place. And then we can attach the rest of the gear. Here's the finished Red 5 helmet utilizing all vinyl decals with the deluxe decals that avoids a lot of labor to get all of the details and the stripes. And I showed you a 3-stage weathering process. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. I've been making instructional tutorial videos like this one for over 10 years and have an archive of hundreds of videos on hundreds of topics. If you find the content of this material useful, you may want to join my new Patreon channel. Go to patreon.com and search for me, or click the link in the description. Thanks for your support.